across town trying to get to you. I've been keeping my phone on no sound, facing you out, that's true. Now I get butterflies just thinking about your eyes, and that can't be all bad. Things came up, things went down, maybe turn back around. My spider sense screaming that I'm mad. A big storm blew up, a hurricane right in my coffee cup, carried me far, far away, and that's why I couldn't make it today to our coffee shop days. I must admit to some X-rated thoughts of what I'd like to do to you. So I guess I can see how bad it rhymes, playing you for a fool. So I pick up the phone, dial your number on the tone to set things straight. Things come up, things go down, make me turn back around. My spider sense screaming that I'm mad. A big storm blew up, a hurricane right in my coffee cup, carried me far, far away, and that's why I couldn't make it today. Yeah. Coffee cup carried me far, far away, and that's why I couldn't make it today. 'Cause a big storm blew up, a hurricane right in my coffee cup, carried me far, far away, and that's why I couldn't make it today. To our coffee shop, babe. Our coffee shop, babe. Our coffee shop, babe. Our coffee shop, babe.
Coffee shop. Coffee shop date. It is Monday, April the 21st. I'm Teddy, and you are listening to MessyMocha. So, yesterday was Easter. Sunday, the Pope delivered a brief message there. And this morning is the announcement that Pope Francis died at the age of 88. So that's all the headlines this morning. So I will just cover that for a moment here. And then maybe I will cover some other breaking news and or news, 5 things. And we are going to wrap up this broadcast for sure by 11 o'clock. Shout out to the mom, all my other bears. I call the Grizzlies and the Honey Bears. I don't know if you are receiving your notifications, because right now I only see one person. All right. So we will just, make it what it is this morning. So again, Pope Francis, renowned for his insistence on a more welcoming Catholic Church, died at 88. That's Pope Francis. So let me give you the live updates 1 minute ago. In an Easter speech hours before his death, Francis called for an end to the wars in Gaza, Ukraine, and Sudan. Um, the crowds filled St. Peter's Square in Vatican City following the news of the pontiff's death. His body will be laid in a coffin today. He made his last appearance um, when they brought him out on the balcony there, and he gave his Easter blessing on Easter Sunday. So the smoke signals, what do those mean in the Vatican? Of course, the Pope's death announced. You see the black smoke that went up. Let me just hang on for a second. I'm looking over the 5 things. They do give a little bit of history. So, Pope Francis was the first non European pontiff in nearly 1,300 years and one of the oldest popes in the church's history. That's when the Vatican announced his death. He was 88, born in Buenos Aires. Francis was 16 when he decided to become a priest. He then entered the seminary and, after 3 years, began training to become a Jesuit, a religious order known for its missionary work. At the age of 36, he was appointed head of the Jesuit order in Argentina. Francis became the first Latin American pontiff in 2013 after Pope Benedict resigned. Benedict remained as Pope Emeritus until his death at the age of 95 in 2022. Unlike his predecessor, who was admired by conservatives for railing against secular trends, Francis sought to modernize the church. A believer in humility, he eschewed the opulence of the office and turned down the opportunity to move into a luxurious papal apartment. Francis also championed the poor, migrants, and the environment, and he took a more compassionate approach to divorced and gay Catholics. His efforts concerning same sex relationships and how to tackle the scourge of sexual abuse scandals face unprecedented resistance from the ultra conservatives. On to the second headline. Pete Hegseth. Last month, a national security scandal involving Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth and other top officials rocked the Trump administration. Those officials were caught discussing a U.S. military attack on Houthis in Yemen in a group chat on Signal, a conversation that inadvertently included a journalist. Despite sharing highly confidential and likely classified information on a commercially available app with a member of the media, none of those involved were punished for their actions. That chat is still under investigation. Now it seems that wasn't the only time such material was posted on the app. Hegseth reportedly created a second Signal group chat during his confirmation hearing and continued using it after he was confirmed. And he allegedly shared the same sensitive details about the airstrikes in the second group chat, which contained at least 12 people, including his wife, Jennifer, a former Fox News producer, his brother, Phil, and lawyer, Tim Parlator, three other people familiar with the chat, told CNN. So, right now, the White House is saying that Trump absolutely has confidence in his pick there, Hegseth, after reports he shared military plans with family in this second chat. On to Israel. The Israeli military now says professional failures led to the deadly March 23rd attack on first responders in southern Gaza. An ambulance crew in Rafah disappeared that day, prompting the dispatch of a convoy of emergency vehicles. The fate of those emergency workers would also remain a mystery for over a week until rescue teams were allowed into the area and discovered a mass grave containing the bodies of the 15 first responders and their crushed emergency vehicles. The Israeli Defense Forces, IDF, originally claimed that the convoy was moving suspiciously, that without headlights or flashing their lights toward Israeli troops, and that members of the emergency team were militants. But a video later found on one of the bodies showed the convoy's lights were on, their vehicles were clearly marked, and the rescuers were wearing reflective emergency responder uniforms when the Israeli troops opened fire. This is the latest Israeli probe identified several failures during the incident. That's sad news, really, it is. Another mishap where the IDF was wrong. Abrego Garcia, that is the Maryland man who was mistakenly deported to El Salvador and detained in the country's notorious CSAT prison, has been moved to another detention center. Senator Chris Van Hollen met with Abrego Garcia last week and said he was traumatized by his incarceration. He said he was not afraid of the other prisoners in his immediate cell, but that he was traumatized by being at that facility and fearful of many of the prisoners in other cell blocks who called out to him and taunted him in various ways. So again, he's been relocated. And finally, Harvard University's battle with the Trump administration may have escalated over a letter it should never have received. According to a report in the New York Times, the letter outlined a slew of demands which, if not followed, would result in a loss of federal funding. When Harvard responded by refusing to eliminate diversity, equity, and inclusion policies, audit the viewpoints of students, faculty, and staff, and alter rules for on campus protests, the Trump administration froze $2.2 billion in federal grants. The Department of Homeland Security canceled two federal grants worth $2.7 million and threatened to strip Harvard of its ability to enroll international students. The IRS is also making plans to rescind the university's tax exempt status. However, two people familiar with the matter say the letter was unauthorized and shouldn't have been sent, even assuming the administration now wishes to take back its litany of breathtakingly intrusive demands. It appears to have doubled down on those demands through its deeds in recent days. Actions speak louder than words, a Harvard spokesperson said in a statement. So that's the 5 things. Again, Pope Francis, 88, died after his delivery on Easter Sunday. Good morning to my moderators. Baby Juju, I see you, says welcome to MessyMocha, fair use commentary for education, criticism, news reporting, and entertainment purposes only. Please hit the like, and you can email me at unwinewithteddy@gmail.com. Going to play a little morning music, and I will be right back.
Não é só na vida que a vida não é na janela que se olha. Há uma linha clara perto da saída. Fecha os olhos e você vai ver. Não é só aqui que sol ilumina. Coisas do além que vão além. Quando de repente é coincidência, nem precisa se esforçar pra crer. Apagaram as luzes pra eu ver. Saí da onde vim pra eu poder ser. Você mostrou o caminho pra eu andar. Eu disse é pelo mar que eu vou nadar. Não é só na vida que a vida, não é na janela que se olha. Há uma linha clara perto da saída. Fecha os olhos e você vai ver. Não é só aqui que o sol ilumina. Coisas do além que vão além. Quando de repente é coincidência, nem precisa se esforçar pra querer. Apagaram as luzes pra eu ver. Saí da onde vim pra eu poder ser. Você mostrou o caminho pra eu andar. Eu disse é pelo mar que eu vou nadar.
All right. So I was going through my emails again this morning, looking for that message or a message that I received from Black Rabbit when I was going through my StreamYard. She was helping me. That was back in 2021. Answer questions about how to, go live and that. So one of the emails that I came across this morning, it was from May. It was May the 26th. And she was helping me, let's see. Yes. So before then, she had scheduled some time. All right. And then she had to change her schedule. So she reached out to me and apologize and then ask if I had time, another day. And then she also mentioned to me in this one particular email that, and I'll just abbreviate it, that she was on an accelerated law program. All right. And that her schedule was jam packed and she would be busy for a while. All right. Um, the last time let's see, again, I'd have to go through some of these, but the last time, as far as email that I can see, unless she had another email address and I'm searching for that, we talked about StreamYard, where she was helping me backstage to, and I gave her a link. That's what it was. I gave her a link so that we could go over StreamYard together. Okay. And she clicked on the link and, and we went through some things. But that would be, was that? Yeah. It was June the 5th of 2021. On this particular email address, and I'm looking to see if there are any others that her and I communicated by email. We communicated more so by Instagram. And to go through all of those Instagram messages, I'd have to read each and every one. It's easier to search for an email than it is to go back and thumb through all of our conversation that we had. And we had a lot of conversation on Instagram. But I can tell you, when I skimmed through it, there was not conversation. There was not a lot, if any, conversation on what she was really doing with the Monica situation. I was aware she was making maybe some videos with the panel, but not her involvement with helping, Miss Tolbert or anything during that time period. I did discuss, that David Johnson letter. I showed you that exchange, but I was totally unaware what her involvement would have been in, getting on a platform with Miss Tolbert, any conversations that she had with Raquel or trying to reach out to Angelica Floyd, the pushback that she got from Angelica Floyd, those communications and exchanges I saw much, much later on. Receipts that were, sent to me when I began, talking about all about the tea, a year after, kind of going backwards. Again, remember, I hadn't even opened that David Johnson letter until later in 2022, after my channel went down. Yeah. And now looking back at some of those videos that were created during that period, during the Nosy Whole Life takedown, right after the Nosy Whole Life takedown, September time frame, I can clearly see, how people were coming together and still focused on Nosy Whole Life, going over to Twitch. Also focused in on Tales from the Cult. But again, people need to know, keep in mind, I had my own back and forth with Tales from the Cult. We had a history when she struck my channel the same year, earlier at the beginning of the year, February, March time frame. So anything that would have been communicated to me or questions asked, whether it would have been Down the Rabbit Hole News or Jane, when it came to Tales, I would certainly want to listen to it and give my input because I was involved with Tales. So yeah, anything that they were saying about Tales from the Cult and thinking that I was involved, or I was Tales thinking that I was Danny. I could see those communications. Thinking at one time that I was Rabbit. Thinking that I Tales was trying to, come after me for what she thought I was involved in later in the year, part of harassing her with, I guess, the cult that she was in, or that. I never harass Tales from the Cult with her history of being in the church or the cult. I wouldn't do that. But because she saw me, saying things or in support, she thought I would have been in support of all of it. That was 2021. And then in October of 2021, remember when Tale's grandmother was called? Early in October, when Trees called Tale's grandmother. I didn't know that Down the Rabbit Hole News might be in or push back on me when I immediately sent her an Instagram and told her, as far as, talking about tails and going after her with her grandmother, you got me wrong. I wouldn't support that. I told her that. I don't get down like that. I thought it was wrong. And after that, things started to, between her and I, definitely started backing away. I didn't quite understand why, but I did speak up. I said, no, I don't get down like that. And I spoke up about trees. Again, I didn't know that Down the Rabbit Hole had made appearances on All About the Trees. Yeah, had been going over there frequently because I wasn't watching All About the Trees. You see, I didn't know the connection between All About the Trees, Danny Robertson, Down the Rabbit Hole News, the attacks on Hear Her TV, and where that all came from. All that Sunny and Rabbit, and there were a lot of content creators' videos, even now, that I don't watch. So some of it, I didn't fully understand why I would have been accused of sending out all those Nosy Whole Life. Remember those emails? Being behind the the troll emails. That's what it was. That came out after Nosy Whole Life was removed from her YouTube channel. How I got mixed up mistakenly, and people thought now I had to be Danny. It was just, there was just a lot going on, a lot of moving parts. And then early in 2022, well, we know what happened. And now I think one of the reasons, aside from All About the Trees, and I thought about it, I didn't realize the attachment or closeness that, remember when, I won't even say the content creator's name. It has something to do with giving commentary, okay? When she came to my channel toward the end of 2021, I guess, to check out my channel. And then what happened after Plain as Jane's channel went down, then another content creator's channel went down. She later got her channel back. Jane didn't get her channel back. But I made a video. You remember that it was a minute video saying that I was going, no, that one talked about specifically, and I showed the receipt, a content creator's channel, was removed. And I put up the YouTube reason. It was in red and white. And at the time, this is when I was thinking, well, why would that channel be taken? I hadn't really watched that channel except to know that they had started playing music. All right? They started playing music. I didn't know, as a content creator, that we can play copyrighted music and not get a strike. That's why I wasn't playing off of the licensed music that I had. So I thought, coupled with maybe there's something else reason why her channel, would have been taken by YouTube. I was thinking, well, maybe it's all the copyright music, but that's only after. And it's very easy to do, and I explained this. There was one video of hers that I uploaded into my studio so that I could see how is she able to play all of the music, because YouTube will, if you upload a video, I can upload any of your videos privately. Immediately, YouTube will scan that video for copyright. All right? And in that way, even before you make it public, you can know if it's copyright music or if it's shared music. Now that I know, I'm learning. And so when all of that music came back, copyright after copyright after copyright, I didn't know it wasn't copyright strikes. It was just simply copyright. And then YouTube will explain, now that I've used copyright music, each time YouTube will say, send, let me just go to my inbox. Like, for example, on a video that I just made the other day, video cannot be monetized and is blocked in some territories. Unwind with Teddy, Sunday Mocha. So that was just yesterday. You remember all the music that I played. Hi, Unwind with Teddy. Copyrighted content has been detected in your video. As a result, your video can no longer be monetized. Okay. The copyright owner may either monetize it or receive analytics. This is not a copyright strike and does not affect your channel. So, on some level, for me, as a content creator, when I learned that, it was actually educational and enlightening and freeing for me, that I could then now play copyright music along with my licensed music. Mhm. So when I learned that, and that would, come after, I was trying to explain that on my video on February the 14th, 2022, about why I thought the channel went down. Plus, I had posted a thumbnail. Y'all remember? of that content creator looking kind of in shock when the channel went down. Okay. If you recall, I immediately, once I could see how it resulted, I removed that thumbnail and I changed it. I also apologized to the content creator, but I was trying to explain about the music because people were making comments like, "You listened to 75 of her songs?" No, I did not. They didn't understand. It was just one video, and YouTube listed all of these copyright on one video. It was eye-opening for me. It was actually helpful for me to learn inadvertently that I could play copyright music. And yeah, if somebody's playing music, I've been playing music for, all since the beginning of my, channel. I was playing music in this sector. No one else was playing music. Every day, every video. When I made that video about that content creator not even knowing the relationship that they had with Danielle, I think that is also one of the reasons that she then would come after me for that content creator. Do you understand? Because later that same content creator would show up in so many different ways. Even in a legal wrangling. That person worked very closely with Danielle as one of her chief in charge, and I didn't know that. So I was talking about someone or making a video, and it must have affected Danielle. I didn't know that. Like she came after me for that. I didn't know that. I just thought it was trees, but now I can see that it would have been most likely that too. Mhm. Again, I didn't know the links between, like I said, BR, DR, this one, that one, that they were all involved in things together. All of them. All of them involved in, together. Remember that content creator having a beef with Tales from the Cult? Sean Davy Way and her made a post about Tales from the Cult, and it was not true. I didn't know. I thought it was individual. So of course I made a video. I was involved with Tales. So anyone talking about Tales, I noticed. Okay? that person is near and dear to Danielle. Trust me when I say that. That is a sworn avenger for life. They will take the sword for Danielle. Mhm. They can be, just told this is what you need to do, and she'll do it. That's my impression. And please, can you delete anything out of the chat? Anything? Would you not use, those kinds of old school? Okay. Can you lighten up a little bit on your descriptions? Okay. I get that you know this story, but some of it I haven't even said. All right. And I don't know how all of that got out either. Okay. I don't. But I do know it was all floated all around the YouTube. And I do know one person who was involved, because that information was private information. Mhm. So if you want to, you can make a video old school on your channel, and you can, go for it with this story. Yeah. Because maybe people do need to hear it, and put it in your voice, and make a video about it, your perspective. Maybe people would be interested. Okay. But there was a lot of things, a lot of moving parts, a lot of things going on during, 20 end of 2021, 2022, people who I didn't know were involved, people who were on All About the Trees channel that I didn't know regularly, watched her channel and supported. So now I can see how groups, and it was groups, all of these people were together. I was never part of that inner sanctum. Never. Hmm. And back to the beginning, Black Rabbit never discussed certain things with me. Had she, I'd have known. I would have. We talked a lot about tails. We talked about cups. We talked about AT2, for a little bit, whatever that was. That was her focus with me, because she had been struck by tails. We had that in common, but that was after I had been struck with tails, because she reached out to me about my strikes from tails and asked if she could help me. She reached out to me first. So her and I, Black Rabbit and I, have a long history of communications. Yeah. But some things that, looking back, that I should have been aware of, not necessarily, but she just never told me about. Yeah, she didn't have to tell me anything. But we talked all the time. Mhm. And I freely shared with her my opinion when she asked me for it on certain things. I did. But I think it was the moment I told her about the tails, and then the following year, the moment I told her I thought Danielle was involved in doing something to my channel, and she pushed back, I didn't know. They were like best friends. So I'm talking to someone's best friend who I have been communicating with long before she came to YouTube, at least that we were aware of. So it was easy. I was just pouring out to her how I felt, right to her best friend. So it was very easy for, Black Rabbit to then go to Danielle and show her, post or whatever. Easy, because I remember saying, how did she, that's something that I only share with Black Rabbit. She was sharing certain things that I had before I even spoke about, before I knew Danny Robertson. I didn't start talking about her. And I don't care. Let a person show receipts until September of 2021. And then when I did, I thought it was kind of cool what she was doing, with some of her videos I thought were creative. And I started watching her videos. I did. It's like, wow. Yeah. I was impressed with some of her, editing skills. I was. But I had been editing my own videos. So why wouldn't I? Hmm. How do you think? How I don't know how this slips by people. How do people think I would be able to get that exact robotic voice? I'd already had it. I was going to be moving on into news. And when I heard it, it's like, oh, that's pretty cool. It was no uh, diabolical long-term plan of doing anything. It was a spoof for that Halloween video that I had spoken to down the rabbit hole before I even created it. And there are receipts to support that. So yes, some things I knew and some things I didn't know. Some things I knew and some things I didn't understand. For example, I didn't understand why in 2022, when those emails were being read, those troll emails, the nosy whole life troll emails, Danny Robertson sent me the copy of that 175-page email. I have the email. She sent me that and another one. Black Rabbit went to her YouTube channel, and I don't know how long it took her to read it, but she read it to her audience. And I remember telling Danny on the DM, I said, well, I could read it on my platform too. I could read it. And she told me, no, I didn't send it to you for you to read it. Down the Rabbit Hole News is going to read it. I skimmed through it. I didn't know that there was a section in it that had my full name, address, all that information in it. When Black Rabbit read that email to her audience, she read all my information to her audience. Everything. Later, she would tell me, I apologize. I'm sorry for for doing that. You and I were talking all the time. I can't believe it. But I just brushed it off as like it was just a mistake. And I said nothing more about it. Why Black Rabbit could read the email, all these doxing or what do you call them, nosy whole live troll emails, and why Danny, who sent me the email, what was the big ahoo if I read portions of it? Now I see it had me threaded through the email as being her. And this, whoever that Sorora woman was, I don't even know. But I was throughout that one of those emails. Again, here I go. I take it and okay, I won't read it. Black Rabbit can read it. Isn't that something? I don't know. I can't explain that one. Yeah. Wow, it's 11:18. I've been on for an hour and 2. But all I'm trying to do at this point is starting from 2022, when things went sideways, to solve that mystery. Why my channel was attacked. Who was at the root of it? Hold them accountable for it. And then others, if they were involved, to figure that out. Because it has spilled over into my personal and my professional life. And that's something that needs to be addressed. It's really that simple. So I've had to work backwards. That's why. If anybody wants to know, I've had to work backwards to try to figure out who this person is. Okay. Yeah. I mean, if you have any questions, concerns, suggestions, comments, I just ask that you be respectful in the chat, especially, I'm not mentioning other people's names in my chat. I don't talk about them. I don't. Okay. And that was not my intent. And all of that somehow got brought back to YouTube. Yeah. right, it is 11:20. I've got a busy afternoon ahead of me, so I'm going to get to that. Biggest bear hugs go out to all the Grizzlies, the Honey Bears, all of you who have joined me this morning. I appreciate each and every one of you. I do. But that's going to do it for me. You're all welcome to come back. And yeah. And I did have to, I'm just going to say it again, old school. I needed to, because I was looking at the chat, I just needed to right then just kind of clamp down on that. Okay. So I think you understand. I hope so anyway. All right. Yeah. Thank you. Take care, Teddy. You take care too. Enjoy your day. Let's go. All right. Thanks for watching. Until next time, I'm Teddy. Have a great Monday.
Oh, she's fun, well, she's fun, unapologetic and wild. Oh, she's loud in bed or nuts, always crazy about guys. 사람들은 모두 그녀를 몰라, and that is fine, she doesn't mind. Get to know her, babe, then you can hate. Her dress is tight, fits just right. She's so fierce with her style. She talks that talk and walks that walk in her high heels with pride. 손가락질 받는 게 익숙한 girl, 예쁜 여자, 쉬운 여자. Get to know her, babe, 깜짝 놀랄걸. Yeah. Samantha, Samantha, 그녀가 정말 원하는 건 Samantha, Samantha, just to be loved, 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 that is all, is all. 사실은 다시 다칠까봐 두려워, 사랑한다고 말하긴 참 어려워. Samantha, Samantha, she's got a sweet, sweet heart after all. She's got a sweet, sweet heart after all. 급사랑에 푹 빠져버린 것 같아. Hang on, honey, there's more. I love you, but I love me more. Oh, that's what she said once. So she's wrong. 리스크는 어디로 튈지 몰라. 사람들은 그녀가 모습만 봐, and that's fine. She doesn't mind. Get to know her, babe, then you can hate. Oh, can't help it but fall in love. The moment she makes you smile. Can't help it but fall in love. The moment she makes you laugh. Can't help it but fall in love. The moment she makes you laugh. Can't help it but fall in love. The moment she makes you shine. Samantha, Samantha, 내가 정말 원하는 건 Samantha, Samantha, just to be loved, 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 that is all, is all. 사실은 다시 다칠까봐 두려워, 사랑한다고 말하긴 참 어려워. Samantha, Samantha, she's got a sweet, sweet heart after all. Can't help it but fall in love. Can't help it but fall in love. Can't help it but fall in love. 눈물마저 사랑스러워. 사실은 다시 다칠까봐 두려워.